What's up, guys? Welcome to the Ben and Eden show. I'm really excited because today, what are we talking about, Eden?
We're going to be reacting to some videos that I feel like are pretty controversial, and that's why I think it's really entertaining and why I wanted to talk to you about it.
And they're dating related, right?
Yeah, because Ben and I have similar but also different opinions on dating, and I think that it's really fun to be able to react to a lot of the trends that we see on social media, because some of them, in my opinion, are really bad, like not healthy, but then I think it's cool to expose some of that. But we might also see it differently.
There's a lot that I just don't understand.
I know, yes, this is true. But that's why I laugh, because some things go right over your head, or some things go right over my head. But I think it's funny just to react to them and see what you think.
And it's funny because I feel like our perspective when it comes to dating has changed a lot from the last episode we recorded together.
Yeah.
Because, and that one kind of blew up. A lot of people saw it.
Yeah.
Saw it. It was really cool. So if you haven't watched it, go watch. It's called The Game of Dating. I think it's episode number 6 on mine. I don't know on yours, but it's on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And I think even our relationship, like our friendship, has grown way more since that episode. So we've known each other pretty way more. So I think even the perspective has changed a lot.
Oh, I totally agree.
And now you're in a relationship too. So
I know, crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
My best friend.
Yeah. Really, so just for the record, he's gonna take all the credit for ever.
It's really funny because he's my best friend. And Eden's my best friend, and they're dating each other. It's like my dream come a reality. It's so freaking dope.
Yeah, it is cool. And now I look back and I listened to part of that episode, and I do think that you, by nature, if you're single, you're going to be a lot more
bitter.
Yeah, you'll be more cynical. You'll be more critical of certain things. And I do think that there's a subconscious part of you that's like, because I don't have that, you're going to find the negative to it so that you don't feel as bad about not having it.
I think most of your perspective and comments, probably opinions, will come from a place of lack.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you don't have it, as you said. I think in my case, because I'm single, well, I kind of give up on. Yeah, that's a different topic.
Yeah, that is a different topic. That's gonna need a whole therapy
session. Let's jump into what's the first one.
So we're gonna go through some reels, and
we'll put the video so you guys can watch it.
Yeah, so we're gonna put them up on YouTube, but we're just gonna go through this first one.
Well, you can see it if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, but go on YouTube and you can watch the whole video.
Yeah, but we're gonna play the sound right here into the microphone.
We'll show me the video too. So put the phone in
Okay, ready? So here's the first one.
Want to be toxic? Remember, no location found means they turned it off. No location available means their phone died.
Okay, I don't get it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So if you're a girl, I feel as though you understand this. Okay, so basically he's saying that I would argue that he's saying that because of technology, there are certain ways that you can be elusive with some of your behavior without your significant other knowing.
Is he been saying that a guy can be if you want to be toxic as a guy, or if you want to be toxic as a girl? Who's he referring to?
I think it's referring to anybody. It's not boys or girls. He's just saying that. And I think what he means by when he says want to stay toxic means unhealthy behavior patterns, right? So if you're looking at their location all the time, I don't think that that's necessarily the best sign of a lot of good trust, in my personal opinion. But that's why he's saying if their phone shows that there's no location found,
they turn it off.
They turned it off, and then no location available means their phone died. I'm sorry, and this might be an unpopular opinion. There is no reason that your phone, that you should turn off your location on your phone for your significant other. If your phone dies, I understand.
Okay, so we're talking about being in a relationship and you turn off the location.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what he's okay.
Yeah. Do you have an opinion on that? Because I think that should never happen. I don't think you should never.
Yeah, that's gonna mess up. I mean,
wouldn't you be like, that's sus?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, because if I turn off, I don't want you to see where I'm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any excuse for that. But that's what he's saying is it's technically quote unquote toxic because they're basically saying that that's how you can catch somebody if their behavior is poor. You know what I mean? If you wouldn't have known that, you would just maybe think that their phone was dead.
Do you guys share each other's location?
No.
You don't?
No.
Oh. Next topic.
Moving on. If you can't tell from my facial expressions, I feel some type of way. But anyway.
But that doesn't mean that it's a bad thing.
No, it's
really
not.
Person.
No, you're right. It's not. Yeah, we're just going to move on.
I think no, I want to talk about it.
It's hard because as a girl, And again, let me preface with your past experiences influence how you think about now. So I think because of my past experiences and
Because you've been cheated on before, right?
yes. And so I think,
In multiple different relationships, or the same
no,
person?
just one relationship, but it lasted for a long time.
Okay.
And so I think that for me personally, the negative thing that I took from my relationship was trust issues more so. And so when I notice certain behaviors that I feel like are in alignment with a lack of trust, that's when I start to like overthink in my head.
Okay.
And I think it is important that you separate yourself, because you don't want to bring in your baggage from a previous relationship to a new one. I get that, but there's also a reason that your guard is up in those certain regards, because your brain literally forms those walls as a protection mechanism, because it doesn't want you to get hurt again if you encounter that same behavior.
100%.
That's why your gut instinct says, hey, something's off here, because it's
similar as the yeah.
It's encountered this situation before and you got really hurt because of that. So I also don't make apologies for having my guard up, because that's just been my experience. So I'm not going to feel bad about, having certain cautions about certain things.
I'm glad you were talking about this, dude, because okay, this is the thing. I've gone out with a lot of girls here.
Yeah.
And I have never met anybody that hasn't gone through some form of traumatic experience, or like their trust was broken. And I think that's a common thing. It happens to guys and girls. But this is the difference, because I relate to that, dude. I've been cheated on before. I got cheated on before and all this stuff, and a lot of like people screw me over. So I get the whole trust issue stuff, and having walls and all these things. But in my experience, the only way to trust someone is putting your trust out again and again and again. And it might be like that trust might get broken and stuff, and you're taking a risk. But I think when you have a good BS detector on people, you can be more selective on who you actually trust. But this is the thing. On my experience with the girls I've been on and stuff, dude, they have so many walls up. And I get it, because I have the same things up, but I'm like, dude, this is me, the good and the bad. Like, I'll show you that I can trust you. I'll give you my trust and all these things. Because I could have the same excuse of having my walls up, but because a lot of these girls, they don't trust people and this stuff, dude, it takes like freaking forever for them to pull their walls down. And in my experience, if I meet a girl that I'm like, you know what? She seems like a good girl. I'm like, I'm going to put my walls down. Could I get hurt? 100%. But I'm just going to take a risk, and I'm just going to take a chance on this person, with the risk of getting my trust broken or something good happening from the relationship. So I think a lot of girls, because they're pretty defensive, they miss out on a lot of opportunities with good guys because they have their walls up.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, I do. That's the risk you have to take.
Yeah.
It's black, and that is black and white. That's the risk you have to take. And I think and I don't know if a lot of women agree with me, for me, it's the time. I think it's the time that you have potential to waste, because time is the thing that you can't get back. I'm more worried about wasting my time now than I am of getting hurt. I don't know why that's the case, but I think it's because I've realized that life is short, and I'm almost 25, and I feel like time has gone by so quickly. And after being in a relationship for almost 5 years, I realize, oh my heck, how much time have I wasted with this person? And yes, I got hurt, but it's more about the time that I can't ever get back. So it's like you're choosing to invest time in this person, and you're choosing to trust them. But again, for me, it's more that fear of getting my time wasted than it is getting hurt.
Do you think that now, because of the experiences that you've had before, you're more aware of, like, you can recognize the guy that's in front of you?
Yes, but I think it's also a little bit detrimental, because I think when you become hyper aware, it kind of robs you of the joy of the present, because you're analyzing everything in your situation. Does that make sense? And it's really easy to overthink. And I personally suffer from that. And I've had to really force myself to hold myself accountable, because I can run with a thought and really get in my head about it. And sometimes it's hard. And if you're a girl, you totally get this. It's you want to be aware enough that, you're protecting yourself, but you also don't want to gaslight yourself. Because as women, we'll do this. We'll be an example of gaslighting yourself is, he was out with his friends, and you know what? Even though I'm upset that he didn't text me, that was wrong. to me, and that's actually my fault. And we'll get in our head and we'll make it our own fault. And that's not good, because that's gaslighting yourself. Now, yeah, you want to have certain boundaries with that, but in my opinion, you just got to have good communication, because it's really, really easy to overthink as a girl in your own
I think
head.
that's why girls have a lot of trust issues, and they keep their walls up because they overthink a lot. Because when you've been through a lot, dude, I mean, if you don't learn from it, I'm sorry, but like you're gonna keep like making the same mistakes. But if you learn from it, you're gonna be able to be like, you know what, that's a good guy, bad guy. I can trust him. I'm not gonna trust him. I'm not gonna be open. I will be open with this person. Like you can tell.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe it's easy for me to say because I'm a man and I'm a logical person, and for you guys, it's more like based on emotion.
Yeah.
And maybe that emotion gets in the way, and that's why you start overthinking and analyzing everything.
Yeah, that's true. I think facts also don't care about feelings. So that's something that has helped me when I feel like I'm overthinking a lot. I'll be like, okay, what are the facts? What are the actions that I've seen this person do in my life? And the things that I feel, if they're negative feelings, are they true to any behaviors that this person has done? And if they're not, I have to be honest with myself and be like, okay, that's an intrusive thought. That's not real.
Yeah.
You know, and I have to do that in order to try and like organize all the thoughts and feelings that I have if I start to feel some type of way about something. However, if I am feeling down or bad about something, I will bring it to him. And it's really interesting because it's also a new experience for me. And I think a lot of girls can resonate with, if they've been treated poorly in a relationship, they don't know what it feels like to be treated well. And I have not understood what that meant until now. And that's even weird for me to navigate. I don't understand it. Like, because you also as a girl learn to just like stop saying how you feel, because it's like, it doesn't even matter. Like, he's not going to listen to you anyway. So you might as well just shut up, because
I think that goes both ways, dude.
It does. But I think because we don't have as much,
I think guys listen to girls way more than girls listen to guys.
But there's 100%. A difference, because when it comes to like, okay, let's say you feel some type of way about something and you have an argument. A lot of the times the guy is going to yell. And like, girls are afraid of men. And so there's a much more power that you have as a man in terms of your presence in an argument to make a woman feel scared. Like, you hold that power. So as women, a lot of us, what we will do is we'll just not talk about it, because we'd rather shut up than have you get upset and we're afraid.
Okay, I get where you're coming from, but I'm just thinking in like, if you have a guy that has like anger issues and all this stuff, and he's like arguing with you and yelling, that for me is like, I'm not thinking of that situation, because that should be a red flag for you. It's like, get out.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
But in a normal relationship, I think when it comes to communication, the guy listens way more to the girl, and the girl listens to the guy 1,000 times out of 1,000.
Oh, I completely. No.
I think a lot of guys.
No.
I truly believe
totally
so.
disagree. I completely
like if you're
disagree.
in a healthy relationship, like.
No, I totally disagree. You want to know why? No, I totally disagree with you. And here's why, Ben. Because I understand how men think. But men don't understand how women think. And you want to know how I know that? It's because even men claim that you guys are simple. You're simple to understand. You are simple to read. You're simple to please. You're easy. We are not. We're much more complex. And that's why we have to explain to you why we feel how we feel about something. I just did this the other day. With that YouTube video I showed you, it's not about the nail. Like, you guys can't understand if something is not logically solution oriented. You can't understand why there's a conversation other than that happening. We're like women, we just want to be heard and seen and felt and understood. And the least logical thing to happen is for you to just offer support. The most logical thing is for you to offer a solution. And that's how your brain works. But we know that your brain works that way. But you don't understand that our brain doesn't work that way, because we know the solution most of the time. We know what to do. We want you to support us and love us and make us feel safe and protected. So I completely disagree, because I think...
Do you think it's 50-50, or do you think it goes through?
No.
I don't think that... Okay, now you're in a relationship now. Do you think like he talks to you way more than you talk to him?
I don't know if it's about talking, because here's the thing, and he actually made a really good point the other day. He's like, Eden, communication is only as impactful as the person you are communicating to feels understood. And so here's the thing.
That's a good point.
If I understand you better than you understand me, I'm going to always communicate infinitely better, because I can make you feel more understood than you can make me feel understood, because you're more simple and I'm more complex.
Kids, I mean, honestly, regardless if the guy talks way more to the girl or the girl talks way more to the guy or whatever, I think we can both agree that there has to be a lot of communication on both sides.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's what makes the relationship work when you guys communicate.
I totally
For
agree.
example, like between you guys, like, because I'm kind of like a weird spot because I'm like really good friends with you and him.
For sure.
And it's funny because like I get different perspectives on the same experience or topic. But I feel like something that I always try to do is like, I'm going to listen, I'm going to try to understand and everything. But I'm like, talk to each other.
Absolutely.
Talk and talk and talk and talk and talk until you guys understand each other's perspective, experience, and point of view. Because at the end of the day, I think that's the most important thing you can do. Like, if we're going to make it work, we're going to figure it out. And this is the other thing is like, because guys and girls, they're all already completely different with hormones and how they think and everything. Now, add the cultural aspect, add the how you were raised and all these different things. So whenever, for example, you're 24, right? You're dating somebody who's 23. Your 24 years of experience is completely different.
Absolutely.
From the other person, which is 23 years of other different experience. And by talking, you guys can get to know each other way more. And this is the cool thing is that I heard this quote like a while ago, and it was talking about like actually like Jesus. And I tried to apply this to everything. This person said, the more I get to know Jesus, the more I love him, and the more I love him, the more I want to follow him. And for me, it applies the same thing with people. For example, with you, like our friendship. The more I get to know you, the more I love you, and the more I love you, I actually want to spend time with you and like hang out with you and spend more time with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think with relationships, it goes that way because you will never finish knowing someone.
No.
There's always going to be new things coming in your way and things that they express and how they feel and their belief system and how they think and all this stuff and their past experiences. But I think the more you get to know somebody, the more you're going to love them. And the more you love them, the more you want to spend your life together with that person, you know?
Yeah,
So
I totally agree.
Having that time to get to know each other, it's going to increase the love and the respect you have for each other as well. And that comes through communication.
I totally agree. Shall we move on to our next reel?
Let's do it.
Okay.
That was a funny one because I'm like, I didn't get it. You have to like explain it to me.
Okay, let's do this one because I think that I personally resonate with this. Okay,
Okay,
are
what
you
is
ready?
this? Wait,
Good morning, starshine. The Earth says hello.
okay, but read
Okay,
the
so
thing that
it says, when you're trying to give the bad boys a break, but the good guys send voice notes like this.
Shine. The Earth says hello.
Is
Good
that a
morning,
thing?
starshine.
Huh?
Is that a thing?
Yes.
Okay, let's start with this before we jump into reacting to this reel. What is your definition by a bad guy and by a good guy?
Oh, no, I hate that question. I feel like
Because I don't think that a good guy is kind of like a nerdy dude. Sending
No,
stuff
I
like
agree with you. I think the bad boy, it's so variable, but I would say maybe in my personal definition, it's more of like a vibe. And they kind of have that like edge to them.
that. Okay, what's the stereotype, specific stuff about the bad guy, for example?
Maybe like they're confident, maybe like a little cocky, maybe they're like athletic, and they kind of have this like air about them that they don't have a lot of care in the world about anything because like they just know who they are kind of thing, and they're maybe a little dangerous, like they might be like adrenaline type
What
junkie
do you mean
guys.
dangerous?
You know, like they I don't even. It's just
How
like
is
a vibe. You know what I mean?
How is that everything you describe is a bad thing? They're confident. They're
No.
athletic. How is that a bad thing? I feel like if you're not athletic, that's...
I don't even know how to describe it, Ben. It's just okay, but maybe if we go through the whole reel, then maybe you'll understand better.
Okay, then explain to me the good guy.
Okay, so girls don't. I was telling this to Derek last night because I sent him that reel. I would say for our generation, a good guy is somebody who lets you know right away that he's really into you and he's wanting to commit, which is like nobody. And so
What?
what?
Like, okay, sure.
And then the players, I would say, are more like the bad boy type.
Yeah, but a good guy doesn't send those type of audios. And
Okay,
stuff.
but listen to me.
That's a weird dude.
But listen, here's the point. And I know every girl listening to this will agree with me. Girls don't like when a guy starts going out with them and he lets them know too soon and too much that he's into them. We don't like that. And I can't quite figure out why, to be totally honest with you, but I think subconsciously it comes from a place of we want to feel like, to a certain extent, we're working for what we want, that it's not coming too easily.
I'll tell you this, though. I think quality girls don't like to be chased.
Oh,
They
no,
don't-
I disagree.
Because this is the thing. I mean, I think a lot of girls, they like to play the game and all these things and take your time. And it's like, oh, I want you to like show me and all this BS. But I think, and I see this in you. I think in the beginning, you didn't like it. It's like, dude, just show me. Why are you doing this? Like, why are you like wanting to see me just once a week or this and all this stuff? And it created a lot of conflict in your mind.
Yes.
So I think when a girl knows what she wants and what she's looking for, I think it just comes as a natural thing.
But that's not chased. That's chasing. What are you saying? Because you just described the opposite to me just now of what you said before. So you're like, a quality girl doesn't like to be chased. What you just described to me in my situation was I was chasing someone.
No, I'm saying that
They were not chasing me. Does that make sense? That's why I was attracted to it. I was attracted.
Wait, let me just.
Yeah, you said that. You
girl
said it
doesn't like to
backwards.
Oh.
Yeah, now you understand. That's why a lot of girls will go after
Okay,
guys.
say what you just said then. Do you think girls don't like to be chased or they do like to be chased?
I think that naturally girls want to be chased, but I think when they are chased too soon without any effort on their part, without any type of finesse, and if a guy doesn't have game and he just like is a simp for her right away,
Oh, okay.
we do not
okay,
like
I
it.
get it. Okay,
We don't like it.
Okay, I get where you're coming from.
And that's why I feel like with Derek, it was very different because he let me know right away that he was interested, but he didn't let me know that I was his only option. So it kept me guessing. And it forced me to become more invested because it was kind of like mysterious, you feel me? So I was like, oh, I wonder if he's going out with other girls. Like, and even though that little part drives me crazy in my head, I want to be thinking about him. If I go on a date with somebody and then I get back and I don't think about them again, I don't like them enough. I'm not into them enough. Or if I go out on a date with them and they like love bomb me and text me a ton, I don't like it. It's like ick. That's like an ick for me. And I know a lot of girls resonate with that.
Say that again?
Like if you get home from a date, right? And then they continuously text you and like they're letting you know how much they like you, blah, blah, blah. It's too soon. It's too much. That gives me the ick. I don't like that. I want there to be some mystery. Like I want to feel like I'm working for it a little bit, but that I'm simultaneously being respected and that he is interested in me still. Does that make sense? It's a really, I don't know. You know what I mean?
You know what? You guys are weird.
I know. You notice
That's
too?
why I just gave up on like dating at this point.
But like women, think about it though, evolutionarily speaking, women are more selective because we have to be the ones that carry the kid, right? We get pregnant.
I don't think girls are actually selective right now.
But that's how biology created us to be though. Think about it.
I agree.
You can go spread your seed to whoever and have no consequence. Yeah. So we have to be much more picky. We have the idea to be picky.
All right, you're saying this. Let's go back to the video. He's like, you're saying, yeah, we're all selective, but at the end of the day, girls, they end up going back to the bad guy, quote unquote. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think most girls do that. They say they want X, Y, and Z, but they don't actually want X, Y, and Z, and they go back to like the dude that has like no goals, no expectation, and just make them feel some sort of way.
Yeah, I also think that like attracts like. So if you're like a girl and you're not doing anything with your life, even if you think that you deserve the world, you're going to attract somebody who's also not doing anything with their life.
Okay, that is very true because I find myself with having conversations with a lot of girls that they're like, oh yeah, I want this. And we agree in the topic or the conversation we're having of like goals and whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, she gets it. But then I'm like, okay, but why is she like going every weekend out?
Yeah,
why
like what is she
drinking?
actually
why
doing?
Why is she like sleeping with different guys? So it's like,
yeah.
Then for me, dude, it happened like, I don't remember when did that click, but because I'm really into personal development and just like passion stuff and business and helping people and God and all these things and like high goals, high expectation, that's the things I talk about. And it came to the point that I'm like, oh, this girl agreed. But then I will look at her fruits and be like, but why is it like so disconnected from what she's actually saying? So for me, it came to a point that I'm like, the best way that I can get to know you is through your fruits. And I don't find a lot of girls that actually have a lot of fruits. I think you're one of them for sure. And that's what we're have dropped their standards and expectations. Maybe they want those things, but they don't have that in themselves.
Yeah.
They don't have those fruits, and that's why they keep attracting the bad guys.
I totally agree. And let's listen to this next reel because I think it's going to segue and continue in this conversation.
What reel?
And I think it's going to be a great segue into this next part of this conversation. And this is by, oh my gosh, Nick Jonas's wife. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but if you're going to know who she is. Okay, ready? Watch. Hold on. Okay, ready?
Women should be financially independent. It doesn't matter who your father is, doesn't matter who your husband is going to be, it doesn't matter who your brother is, it doesn't matter who the man in your life is. You need to be responsible for your finances and be financially independent.
Did you hear all that?
Yeah. Women
So
should
what
be
are you-
financially independent.
Yeah.
I don't. Okay, I'm gonna give this. Okay, if I'm with a girl, I'm gonna provide financially. If she wants to work into something because she's passionate about, I'm totally down. But it's my role as the dude to provide and protect financially and physically.
Okay.
Now, before that, if the girl wants to, like, let's say we're not together. If I find a girl that's working and providing for her own thing, I think that's actually a good thing.
Yeah.
That's good. But if you're in a relationship, I think it's going to come to the point that you don't have to be independent financially because the guy's going to provide for you, because that's not your role. If you want to, you can do it. But your role is different when it comes to, like, because your role is going to be more like spiritually and mentally nourishment and family stuff and all these other things. But is that real based on being single in a relationship? What do you mean by that?
I don't think that there's any specification. I think she's just saying in general because she's married and they have a couple kids and she's totally paved her own way and she's been very successful in her own ventures, which I have a lot of respect for. But would you argue then and agree that every woman should then therefore be capable of being financially independent, even if they don't necessarily have to be?
I think capable, 100%. 100%.
I agree.
Because I've found a lot of girls that they get divorced and they don't have any financial plan or something to go for because the dude provided everything. And I see my mom on that. I see a lot of women that I've met that because they were in an abusive relationship or some sort of way, they're having to start their life again when they're 50 or 40 or something. And it's pretty sad.
That's what happened.
It's pretty sad.
Yeah, that's what happened to my mom.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm so passionate about me getting an education, but also women getting an education, because let's be real, I think you're delusional and you're ignorant if you don't plan for a worst case scenario. It's unfortunate, but it's true. 50%, I think it's 51% of the marriages in this country end in divorce. So you have a 50-50 chance, and I hate to be the one to say it, but it's honest. And to completely rely on your significant other without having any way that you're going to be able to provide for yourself if anything goes south, I think is a very stupid plan.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think the root of that is not like actually the marriage itself. I think it's who you're picking. So it's like you can fix that by just having higher standards, you know?
Yeah, but that doesn't negate the fact that numbers don't lie. You still have a 50% chance of getting divorced.
Let's talk about here, for example. So Utah, everybody gets married when they're 20, and like the rate of divorce is freaking high.
It's really high.
Now, the problem is not the divorce. The problem is like the people who are getting married at a specific age, that they get married without even knowing their partner or knowing what to do with their own individual lives. That's what they get divorced, because for them, getting married is like, oh, you want to do something fun? Sure, let's get married. All right, bet.
Yeah.
And after 3 months, they're jumping into a relationship and like getting kids out of, you know? So I think everything fixes itself when you, as an individual guy or girl, you just have higher standards for yourself and you actually follow through those standards and you make something out of yourself and you become a valuable person. not just talking about it, but you actually have fruits.
So do you think if you're married, do you think that your wife should be capable of supporting herself financially?
In my case, if I'm married, we're gonna be loaded financially, and you don't have to work. If you want to start a business because that makes you happy, you're passionate, dude, I'll support you. I'll invest. And I don't care. I think that's perfect. But I think it's not my money.
I see
We're
what you
a
mean.
team.
Yeah.
It's your money too. The fact that I bring it, like, yeah, that doesn't make it that it's mine. I think a lot of people, especially right now, they think of like, oh, I'm the wife and he's the husband, whatever. And they forget that we're a team. We're not individuals anymore. That's the way I see marriage. It's like one flesh. That's what it says in the Bible. And for me, I try to apply those same principles. For example, I'll give you this example. My business partner, D-Rock. I told him, like, dude, I disagree with a lot of things with you. And I know we're really different, but guess what? I'm married to you. I'm married in business to you. And in my mind, I don't have a plan B, C, or exiting. We're going to make this thing work. And if we have to sit down 10 friggin' hours and argue and fight until we make it work, we're going to make it work. Because in my mind, I'm a person that if I commit to this, we're going to make it work.
Absolutely.
There's not a friggin' exit. You're not going to get rid of me. I'm sorry, bro. But I signed that paper and that document, and we're in this boat together,
I love that,
So
though.
I think a lot of people, first of all, they jump into this relationship thinking as like individualism, or marriage or whatever, when it should be as talked about as a team. We're a team now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about just your perspective or my perspective. It's about what's best for the team.
Agreed.
Do you know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
So I think, I'll be honest, I think a lot of people, there's a lot of roots for sure in the problem. A lot of it comes when people get married. They don't know the person as much when they get married, and all this stuff. They're not happy or confident or fulfilled by their own, which that's something I preach a lot. I always tell everybody, do not be in a relationship if you're not fulfilled, confident, or happy on your own.
Amen.
Now, if you have those three things, be with whoever you want to be. But when you're not those three things, you give the power to somebody else for your fulfillment, your happiness, and your confidence. And that's when you become dependent. And in my experience, a lot of the people that I've seen that get divorced and they struggle either financially, spiritually, mentally, when they got married, they weren't fulfilled. They weren't confident or happy by themselves. So now they find themselves in their 50 or their 45 or 40, whatever. And they're like, yeah, I'm a dependent person because I never allow myself or find the way for me to be confident and fulfill on my own because I depended on my partner in order to do that. And I think that's a big issue.
I agree. And at the end of the day,
That was good.
That was so good.
That's inspired, right? Like, he doesn't come very often. It's probably because I'm wearing the boots. When I
Oh,
wear my
it's the
boots and
boots.
jeans, I say a lot of smarter things for sure.
I think it's true, but all those things that you mentioned that you're lacking if you are in a relationship and you haven't done those things, really it's a lack of understanding who you are, and how can you expect your partner to know who you are, which includes loving you the right way, communicating with you the right way, treating you the right way. You treat and love people because you know who they are and how they like to be treated in XYZ. But if you don't know who you are, how can you expect your partner to know who you are?
I agree.
So yeah, it really causes a lot of downstream problems. But I really like what you said.
And this is the other thing I want to add to this. The worst decisions you're ever going to make in your life are based on emotions. Love, happy, sad, angry, whatever. How many people you know that they got married because they were quote unquote in love and they end up getting a divorce? Because love is not enough.
Love is not enough. And
You need to make those decisions that are critical for your life based on logic, results, and facts. And then if you're like, you know what, this person has fruits, this person has like the results I want, now I'm gonna add the emotion and everything, I'm all for it. But a lot of these young kids, whatever, people who get married, is like, oh, I love this person, I'm gonna get married, I want to spend, and they ignore all the results, all the facts, all the logic, which is like all the evidence.
Love is blind.
You know?
Love is so blind. And at the end of the day, I totally agree, because compatibility is so important. And the data also supports this, because you look at India and they have arranged marriages. Still, it's a very common thing. Their marriages have a lower divorce rate because they pair people based on their compatibility. They take all of the facts and they have them get married, and they have a higher success rate of marriage because they're basing them on those things. Now, granted, I think that kind of sucks, and I would not want to do that.
It's like the other extreme of the extreme that we're in right now.
Yeah, it's a balance, but the hard part is that love blinds you.
But think about this, because back in the day, if I'm a king and I have my daughter, I'm going to be like, who's the dude that is going to protect my daughter, provide for her for the rest of her life, and he's going to be a great dad, great family guy, and all this stuff. And those decisions were made on facts.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and okay, maybe my daughter, maybe they didn't like the guy, but like you can develop love for someone at the end of the day. And I'm not saying that I approve that 100%. But I think then you look at people, why they make decisions right now. Oh, she's hot. Oh, she's cute. Or the girl. Oh, he's so handsome. He's jacked. I'm like, what?
That's going to only take you so far.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, and that's why they say marry your best friend. Well, why do they say that? Because your best friend, think about it, is the person that you want to spend time with and do all of your like activities with and have fun with. Yes, obviously the romantic part is important, and you need to be like sexually compatible, and you need to have that romanticism and intimacy that is there, that connection is present for sure. But you also have to have the other 90%, which is what most of your life is comprised of. And if you're not compatible in that 90%, because again, that romance is only one part of your entire life, then you're not going to work out. And I think it's hard. It's really hard to hold yourself accountable to that when you're in love. It's hard to be like, dang, I'm in love with this person, but we're not compatible. Now, can you change certain things in regards to compatibility? Yes, you can change habits. But there are some things that for a lot of people are non-negotiables. And some people, that might be a personality trait that's at their core. That's who they are. That's not going to change. And some people refuse to change. And that's not to say it's good or bad that, you know, they refuse to change. But at the end of the day, I would argue that it's way harder to make those logical decisions once you're in love with them. And I think that's also why it's important to be quote unquote guarded at first, because I think you should look at all the facts before engaging in some type of effort to fall in love with them, because you should know before.
But when you say, are you talking about a girl's perspective in that regard, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think you got to be careful when it comes to the sexual and physical intimacy before you? Because I think for girls, when you start doing those things more, that's when the emotion creeps in and the attachment creeps in, and then you can't see the facts or the results or the fruits because you've done physical or sexual stuff with a person. It gets blurry to see it.
I understand what you're saying. And growing up, my dad actually would always tell me that. He'd be like, Eden, you need to be careful about getting involved with boys because you are going to become emotionally attached to them if you do anything sexual, which that was never a fear because I really didn't like boys forever.
But that happens a lot though, right?
It does. And I would agree with you. Now, I think that it's not totally black and white because I think that physical intimacy is an important and natural part of relationships. But I do think that you do become bonded to somebody when you share that physical intimacy with them because it's vulnerable.
And I think for girls, it's way more than guys because I think guys like...
You could literally have sex with anything that walks. I'm sorry, but it's true. Like...
No, but it's just a fact. Like, I don't think guys that get attached a lot when it comes because of the physical stuff.
But you know why too? Is I was telling Derek this the other day, and I was like, you could see a girl in a bar, right? And you could be like, dude, she's hot. And you would have the feeling of wanting to kiss her and like get physical with her. Now, for me, and I'm not all women, so I'm not... And then
forget about her and go back to your partner.
Yeah, but And every girl's different. For me personally, I mean, I can think you're good looking for sure, but... I don't think to myself, oh, I want to kiss them or whatever when I first see them. No, I have to develop a emotional and a mental connection with you before I can want to do like really physical stuff with you. And I think that is different from a lot of women because a lot of women can do one night stands, which in that case, I don't think you've had enough time to develop a connection with them fully. So I guess there are some women who can totally, you know, have sex without developing that connection. And I'm not one to judge. I don't care. You do you. But I just, for me personally, I have to have that established base foundation before I even have like a desire to get involved more physically, where I think boys, like you said, is not as much like that.
I agree. Now I have a question for you, and then let's jump into the last reel that you wanted to show.
Which you're going to show it because my phone died.
Oh, it did? Okay, but I want to go back to that reel that you mentioned, the bad guys and good guys. Now I'm gonna bring it back to girls. Do you think there's more quality girls out there versus quality guys, or what do you think in your experience is the kind of like the ratio?
I think beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. I also think quality is in the eyes of the beholder, because to some guys that I've learned, I'm not necessarily quality because I don't want to be like a stay-at-home mom that takes care of the kids and cleans the house.
Okay, so let's define what a quality person truly means first before we make this.
I don't think there is a definition. I think it's all dependent on you and what you perceive to be quality, because it's all about what you're looking for. I think that's a mistake we make actually in our generation, or even in the world in general, is that we try and define things. I think it makes us feel more psychologically safe if we can have concrete definitions for everything, but I just don't think that that's how it works, because we're all diverse and unique for a reason. We all have personal preferences, and that's why there's somebody for everybody. And that's why I may not work for someone else and vice versa.
Okay, I agree, but also there's some like minimum requirements that when it comes to a quality person, like for example, I don't think if you don't treat people the right way,
Yeah.
if you don't have goals in your life, if you don't work in your body, if you don't develop a relationship with God, if you don't have high standards, all this stuff, I don't think you're a quality person. And I think that's just a fact. And somebody could be like, oh, but Ben, you're just being like judgmental, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, be in a relationship with somebody that doesn't have those things, and call me later to see if that was a quality relationship or not. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about like specific things, but there's 4 areas: financially, spiritually, mentally, and physically. I think when it comes to a quality person, you should have progress in all those areas and high goals in those areas. Do you agree?
Yes and no. I don't think somebody has to have a relationship with God to be a good person.
I agree, but I'm making the assumption that if you have a good relationship with God, you're gonna be a good person to other people, because that's my expectation when people say I believe in God. Not like I believe in God and I'm a dick to somebody else. Which that happens a lot too, you know. But what do you think is the ratio in your experience? Like,
I think that I can think that you're a quality person and not want to date you, but I can also think you're a quality person and want to date you because you have the qualities that I am looking for. So I think it also comes down to, I mean, if you're looking at a quality person, not in regards to dating them, but just somebody that you see in the world, I would say the golden rule, like you treat other people how you want to be treated. You are respectful and you try to refrain from judgment. And whatever it is in your life that you are doing, you are just pursuing to be better at. That's what I think would define a quality person if we're trying to make really broad generalizations for the public.
And you found more guys or girls like that?
I don't think I have an opinion, honestly, because
I'm not saying that your
I would
experience
say
make it a
girls,
fact,
probably girls.
Really?
Yeah. I would say that girls overall are, to the general public. If I'm talking general public, I think girls are nice. I think that girls try to be kind to others. I think girls can be more judgmental than guys, but I also think that girls like to be good at whatever it is that they are doing. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't have an opinion. It's pretty equal, to be totally honest. Because again, if I'm trying not to put people in my standard list. Does that make sense?
No, I agree with you, because at the end of the day, I think it comes down to like what do you want and what you're looking for, and then you're gonna filter people based on that.
Yes.
And for you, I agree.
It's not fair for me to hold other people to my standards or expectations. Now, if I'm gonna engage in a contract of relationship, whether it be business or whether it be romantic, now there is room for me to set expectations. But if they're not going to be involved in my life in those ways, I don't think that it's fair for me to set those standards or expectations or put that on them.
That's fair. That's a fair question. I like it.
Last reel?
What was the last reel?
Oh, this is so funny. Well, this is kind of what we were talking about earlier, so I don't know if we want to do this one.
Is this the gym one?
Do the gym one, yeah.
Okay, it says, wait. There's this girl crying. Oh wait, damn it.
Don't you love when people put their crying videos on Instagram?
She says,
Cringe.
"What got you through your breakup?" And she's crying. And then it shows her like working out at a gym, and it says the people who helped heal a heart they didn't break.
And they're like hugging at the gym, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I really like that reel, actually. I've seen quite a few reels of girls who are like, they're talking to the camera or whatever, and they go, to the girl who had her heart broken 6 months ago, how's the gym treating you? Or something like that. And I love that. I think of all ways that you can cope with a breakup, I truly believe that the gym is one of the best places because, one, you're getting your revenge body. Hello, are you kidding me? Like, make him miss you. And two, you're surrounding yourself with people who want to be better. And if you can go into a gym, which I know is like really scary for a lot of people, and learn how to become confident, that translates to every area of your life. And you want to be surrounded by other confident people. So all around, to me, it's a win-win to go to the gym after you get through a breakup. And it really helped me heal too.
It's humble.
What? Why do you look at me like that?
No, I think I agree with you, dude. But I think it goes way more than just going to the gym. I think the best thing you can do, like the best revenge, it's becoming better. Not just physically, but in all aspects in your life.
Oh, yeah.
And I think when you start becoming better, you start attracting people who are in the same path as you. And then those people can help you heal during the process. And I truly believe that, dude, because like I've told you about this before. I think you've been a huge part of my life because you've helped me heal in that regard.
Same.
Because it was funny because when I saw this video, I'm like, even though you're talking about it in a girl's perspective, I'm like, I've been there before. Because I've been broke. I've been broken multiple times.
Yeah.
And well, going deep into this one, in my case, for example, when it comes to
Spill the tea, Ben.
when it comes to, because I mean, you know my story. I've told you before, but I've been through like a lot of crap that has just been me.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in my family, close friends, and people that just growing up when I was a kid that were supposed to love me and protect me, that hurt me. So I really had a hard time seeing like receiving love because I didn't experience that growing up, you know, from my mom, from my dad. And now it's like way better because I've been able to like cope with those things and work on it. But somebody's been a huge influence in that regard was you because like, dude, like, and I've talked to you about this, but now we're talking in public. But I remember us, like when we met, you called me for like a month straight. And I'm like, why is she freaking calling me? Like I'd never answer the phone.
Yeah.
Because I don't allow people into my circle anymore as that easily as before. Mm-hmm. Because now I'm picky. When it comes to choosing friendships and stuff, but you kept doing it. I'm like, you know what? It's been like a month and a half, and this chick is still like not giving up. I'm gonna start talking with her. So like I remember like we started talking and like FaceTime, and we like it was really cool because your expression of love to me, it's the same way that I do for other people. And I've never experienced that. I've never received that like at the same level that I've given it. Yeah. I've been giving it. And it was so healing because like, I'm like, you care.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that was new to me because I haven't experienced that in a long time as the same level that I give it away. You know?
And it's a beautiful thing. And it's a beautiful thing that I was able to make you feel that way because you get it. You get what it's like to give that.
Yeah.
And it was important to me that you felt that. And it's funny because I think back to I just think about how many things have happened this year in my life, like amazing things. And I think to myself, wow. And I credit this all to getting out of my relationship, truly. I think if this was 2022 and I had gone to the gym and I had met you, because that's where I met Ben, was at the gym. So again, like I've met so many great people at the gym, seriously. And I think back to if this was 2022 and I had met Ben at the gym in May when I did, would I be here now? And I think absolutely not. And I truly think that speaks such high volumes to letting go of the things that are bad in your life. Because as we speak, I think about how important it is, like you said, to surround yourself with good people, and you want to put out that good energy because you're going to get that good energy back. But at the same time, it's the same with negative energy. If you're tolerating and accepting negative energy into your life, you're taking out room where you could have positive things. Yeah. So it's like you're limiting yourself to a certain extent. And I realized that I was so limited in my ability to receive all the abundance that could come to me by tolerating, an individual that really was holding me back. And I've thought about how this year, because I got out of that relationship in January, I've thought, wow, I've grown so much as a person this year. And I've met you and I've met Derek, and I'm now part of so many amazing things, and I've experienced so many great things because I finally let go of that negative energy. And it's crazy to me because
100%.
I was so scared, Ben. I seriously, and it was out of fear that I didn't leave that relationship for a long time, because I was like, dude, what if there's nothing better? That was my fear. It was lack, really, of I didn't have enough self-confidence. And I was like, dude, what if this is it? Like, what if this is the best thing that ever happens to me and I'm being an idiot by letting it go? And because you really don't know what cards are in the future. You don't know. But I mean, I'm forever grateful, because now I have realized that there is better. And I've realized that there is so much abundance, and that you really do have the ability to get all of it if you truly just work and believe in it.
I agree. I 100% agree. But I don't know, like, going back to this, I love it because, like, just by being a good person and by giving, you have no idea how it means to other people. Mm-hmm. Because you didn't know. No. Like, what you calling and you doing this thing, you had no idea.
No idea.
But you did it because you're just a good person.
Yeah, and I cared about you. And
I think when it comes to just caring, I truly believe there's a lack of people who actually care. Mm-hmm. And I think that's one of the reasons why the world and society is the way it is, especially when it comes to younger people, because most people don't care. And I don't know, because somebody, like, the way I describe myself, I'm a giver. Like, in all my relationships and friendships, most of the balance is on my side. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to, like, say it in a selfish or cocky way, because I just, like, love to see people win. Like, I truly do. Yeah. Like, I feel like my intentions are really pure when it comes to that. And you've seen it in your life. I
totally agree.
And I truly believe you're the same way. But I think most people they're not like that, Yeah. For somebody like you, for example, the problem is it's not going to be, oh, I care too much. The problem is going to be they don't care enough.
Well, and I think it's because we spend less time investing in personal human relationships, because that takes actual effort and there's more risk. And we spend more time getting an instant gratification dopamine hit by scrolling on our phones. Yeah. I mean, it's the unfortunate truth.
But the reward that comes by actually investing in those relationships, dude, is huge.
Oh, of course it is.
Like, our conversations, like our friendship and the conversations we have, with like all my other friendships that are like the exact same way, I'm like, I don't think anybody has those types of conversations that deep and so meaningful. Yes. Because most people don't want to invest that time, or they would rather have like a surface level relationship or friendship, because they don't want to invest or go deep and open those wounds and scars and like actually pour down your soul into someone.
Because you can get hurt. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's vulnerability. I think we're also all raised to play things very safe. We're a generation that likes to be comfortable. We don't like to be uncomfortable, and we don't like to put in work unless we're guaranteed a reward. And that's just not how life works.
I agree. Yeah.
And I don't really know how to fix that personally, but at least we can start the conversation and talk about it. And that's what we're doing right now. Because I do think it needs to be brought to light. That's a really big issue of people feel as though it's wrong to feel uncomfortable. And I think that is the worst mindset you could ever think of, because again, feelings don't care about facts. Think of all the people that have been successful and think about their journey to get there. The journey sucks, but the people who are successful learn to embrace the suck. But if they had listened to their feelings probably every single day, where they have to do the monotonous grind and they have to have sacrifices and meetings all day and they have to do things that they don't want to do, And they probably freaking hate it. They hate it. They don't like it. They don't feel good while they're doing it, but they're doing it because they know there's that light at the end of the tunnel. But if they would listen to their feelings in those moments when they're uncomfortable and they hate it, they would have all quit. But a lot of the times our feelings are not an accurate representation of our goals. And if you listen to those feelings, you're going to lose. But the problem is that we've become a generation that's so keen on, making sure that we understand our feelings, and we put a lot of emphasis on feelings. And while that's great, I think we've come such a long way in mental health, and that's fantastic. I feel as though a little bit we've swung too far to this direction now, where it seems like I feel like we need to be brought back to the middle of reality, because the world doesn't stop spinning because you're having a bad day.
And apply that to relationships, for example. And
For sure.
a lot of people avoid certain topics because they don't want to feel bad. They don't want to feel uncomfortable having those hard conversations.
Yep.
And I'm like, brother, that's retarded. Because for me, I'm like, I
do too.
want to argue with you. I want to disagree with you. I want to learn how to fight in a healthy way. Yep. Not like with contention or raising their voices or whatever. But I want to learn how to disagree, because I understand that when it comes to any sort of relationship, friendship, or whatever, we're completely different. But we have a commitment that is, I want to spend the rest of my life with you, either as a friend, as a partner, as a business partner, as whatever the hell it is. And I'm willing to figure it out. I'm willing to talk about those things that most people don't want to talk about. And guess what? I'm going to ask those things, And that's when your love for the person actually increases, because you truly get to know them. If you're not talking about like why they think the way they think, or the way they were raised, or their trauma, or the things that hurt them, or like why they believe in God, or like the why whatever, you're never going to actually get to know someone.
Oh, 100%.
And
yeah, one of my old sales leaders, he said one of the best quotes I've ever heard, and it's so true. I think about it all the time. Mateo, that's for you. It's freedom lies on the other side of the difficult conversation.
Yeah.
And I love that quote so much. But you know what? We don't know how to have difficult conversations anymore because, one, we don't ever do them. But two, people, again, don't like to feel uncomfortable. They don't like to feel upset. So they think that it's wrong. And no, that's not the case. But we're not taught conflict resolution. But like you've told me before, if you're not exposed to things, then how do you learn how to handle them better? And I think that's so true, because even in my relationship right now, it's crazy how well we resolve conflict. And it comes to emotional intelligence and communication, but ultimately seeking to understand the other person.
I think that's the huge one.
You have to seek to understand before you seek to be understood. If there's anything you take away from this episode, dear God, please seek to understand before you seek to be understood.
And I think a lot of people, especially here, struggle with that because they were raised in a way that they were taught to their parents, and their parents wouldn't try to understand them. Their conversation would be like, why did you do that? Don't do that. Or do this or that. And they would focus on the act itself rather than trying to understand why the person had that certain behavior or why they did what they did, And I think that's a huge problem, because like they would place more importance on the checklist or the decision or whatever they did, instead of the person itself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then we're raising, I'll be like, you know what? Like, we don't talk about this. We don't talk about like sexual stuff. We don't talk about like spiritual stuff. We don't talk about God. We don't talk about like my child. We don't talk about my trauma. We don't talk about these things. I'm like, that's a huge problem,
I think one of the best things you can do is expose yourself to other cultures and to other types of people, because it teaches you that your way of thinking and your way of life may not be the absolute best way or like the only way. And I think that allows you to become a more tolerant person. It helps you learn how to communicate with different types of people. And it just makes you an all-around more loving person, in my opinion.
And the cool thing as well is that it helps you when you understand, when you listen to try to understand or communicate to try to understand, you stop taking things personal.
Absolutely.
Because for me, I used to take things very, very personal. And I still do when I want to like get stuff done and like prove somebody wrong, for sure. But now I'll be like, you know what? This person said this thing not because that's something I'm not doing. They're saying that because that's what they believe in themselves. That's what they think of themselves. But that didn't come until I had to stop and be like, okay, why is this happening? Why was that said? Oh, wait a minute. She or he was raised in some sort of way. and the parents did this, and this is the person experience, and this is what they went through. It's like, oh, now I get it. And you live in a more peaceful way and less contention. And your mind is more clear because you stop thinking that everything is about you.
Oh, absolutely. You know? We should we should.
And
totally,
somebody like you and me would take things very personal, and sometimes we gotta be like, you know what? Probably it's not about me. Well, there's a deeper issue here.
Yeah. It also comes down to like, and I mean, intelligence, really, and emotional intelligence. We should do a whole episode on coping mechanisms because they all have, there's a ton of types, and you have mature and immature coping mechanisms, and I think it would be really helpful for people to understand what they are so that they can identify them in others and themselves, because we all cope with things and they're defense mechanisms, and a lot of times if you're not aware of them, then you're not ever going to realize that you're doing them. So at the end of the day, that's really important, because I think a big part of these podcasts is helping people become educated. But I think that was pretty much everything that we wanted to talk about.
That was a good one. That was an
really
intelligent,
good.
Smart, educating podcast.
That's what we're here, baby. We're here to raise the bar and get y'all educated so you can go out in the world and preach the word to others. So
yeah, so guys, tell us what you think about this episode. We're actually gonna plan to do more things with Eden and myself.
Yeah,
because I enjoy having these conversations.
I think it's so fun. Yeah, I do too.
I think having a men's perspective and a girl's perspective, but not just like different genders, but also like you and me, I think we'll make a really good combo when it comes to
I think couples could also benefit from listening to stuff like this, because it'll allow them to see each other's perspective.
Yeah.
And
cool. You've done a couple things. I've done a couple of things too when it comes to fruits and results. He's like,
for sure.
There's some credibility for sure.
Yeah, and I feel like I speak from experience, right?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I know that what I have to say has value to it because I've experienced it.
We should do more Q&As. Guys, we're going to post a link either in Apple or Spotify or even YouTube. If you have any questions, put them down below. Could be about anything. Could be about dating. Could be about relationships. Could be just about life. Could be about like things you struggle with. Could be about a joke. Could be, I don't know. It could be about whatever. Cultural things, because you're 1% Native American.
Shut up. 3.8, okay? We do have a YouTube channel, though, guys. If you can, we'd really appreciate if you like and subscribe. It's going to be Stand Firm. There is Stand Firm with Ben and Stand Firm with Eden. We do have our own channels. But we really just appreciate the support. This is really fun for us, and we feel as though this is part of our purpose to help bring light to these topics and hopefully make this a better conversation that is healthier and allows you all to navigate a lot of the things going on in your life and around you in the world so that you can feel a little bit more hopeful and confident with the day-to-day.
And before we finish, mark your calendars. January 27th. How did Dominate 2024 in Orem, in one of the venues that Stand Firm owns. You're going to be able to listen to me and Eden and 10 to 11 to 12 different speakers. It's going to be amazing. I think you have the link in our bio that you can go to and get more information, get your tickets, because it's going to be dope. So,
yeah,
love you guys. Have a good one. We'll see you guys later. Take care.